Most teachers had summers off, but Dave had chosen to spend his July teaching a summer school class for Alta Vista High School students who'd flunked American history. Often he remained late to tutor kids who were having difficulty in the intensive class, but his car stood in the driveway when Megan arrived home. She snatched her keys out of the ignition, sailed through the front door, and found her handsome husband on the deck, a plate of raw hamburger patties in his hand. "Hi, Chef Wingfield." She gave him a quick kiss, then stood back and nodded appreciatively at the flaming grill. Those burgers look good, but be sure they're done in the middle, okay?" She almost added that eating raw meat was bad for pregnant women, but then thought the better of it. "Have I ever fed you a raw hamburger?" Dave's blue eyes twinkled over his shoulder as she moved to a deck chair. "They don't call me Chef Boyardee for nothing." "Yeah, right." She sank into the seat and propped her feet on the edge of the vacant chair behind her husband. Though the sun had begun to lower toward the Virginia mountains in the west, the air was still warm and muggy. She pushed her bangs off her damp forehead and smiled up at him. "Have a good day?" "The kids were fine, no problems." Dave dropped the patties onto the grill, where they immediately began to sizzle. "Dr. Comfort called to talk to me about next year. Seems she's thinking about making it her last year. She wants to retire." Megan stared at him, a tingle of excitement beginning to flow through her veins. Dr. Stella Comfort was Dave's boss at Valley View Elementary School, where he worked during the regular school year. "If she's retiring..." "Yep, she wants me to take her place. She says she'll recommend me to the school board even though I'd be the youngest principal in the county." "That's wonderful news, honey." Megan beamed at him as she fanned her face with her hand. "I always knew you were the best, but this proves it." Dave shrugged. "It means Dr. Comfort likes my work. I'd still have to convince the school board I could handle the job, and there are other assistant principals who'd kill to have that spot." "But you've been at that school 4 years. The teachers know and respect you, and the parents have never had a bad word to say." "All the same, it's up to the school board." Turning, he winked at her. "But thanks for the vote of confidence." "You're welcome." Megan crossed her legs at the ankle, wondering if the fluttering in her stomach was the result of hunger or something else. "I might have some other good news." His brow lifted. "Not another pet, I hope." "No, 2 cats are enough." She looked down at her hands as a sudden feeling of awkwardness overtook her. How many times had they replayed this conversation? "I'm 2 days late." His voice softened. "You've been late before." "Yeah, but today, around lunchtime, I felt really queasy. Laurie says that's how she felt in the first month. She said she couldn't even stand the sight of food." "Maybe you ate something you shouldn't have." "I didn't eat. I skipped lunch." When Dave didn't answer, she hurried to fill the silence. "And there are other signs, too. Breast tenderness, and I'm tired, really tired. So on the way home, I stopped to pick up another test kit." His eyes, when she looked up, were soft with sympathy. "I'd wait a day or two," he whispered, keeping his gaze on her while he absently patted the burgers with a pancake turner. "Save your money." Megan's eyes filled with tears as he turned his attention back to the grill. Why couldn't he be optimistic? They'd been through so much together, 22 long months of the struggle to conceive a baby. Everyone said they just needed to relax, to trust in God's timing, to let themselves settle into married life. Well, they'd been married and settled for 3 years, and still there was no baby, no pregnancy. Nothing but hope after hope, month after month, an endless roller coaster of rising optimism and falling dreams. Megan's stomach gurgled as the scent of sizzling fat reached her nostrils. She placed a protective hand over her belly, then pulled herself out of the deep chair. "Yell at me when the burgers are done," she called as she left the porch. "I'm going in to cool off." Once inside the house, she locked herself in the bathroom. A moment later, she discovered that Dave had been right. She should have saved her money and not bought the pregnancy kit. This would be another month without a baby. After dashing tears from her eyes, she opened the cupboard beneath the sink and fumbled for the box of tampons. She tried to tell herself it was no big deal, just another minor setback. But her pep talk did nothing to stem the hot tears stinging her eyes.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.